I mean, well, let's don't wishy-washy about it. Is the NFL scripted or is it not?
Man, I think they got billions of reasons to have an interest in who's there.
Is the NFL scripted? And I'm going to yell it a little louder because I don't think you heard
Okay.
me. Is
Okay.
the NFL scripted or is it not?
Absolutely. There you go.
Okay. Now that we got that out of the way, so you're a flat earther, NFL
No,
scripted.
I'm
So we're
not.
going all the way that way.
I'm
All
not
the way
getting
with
into
the
all the other
conspiracy theory.
conspiracies, but sometimes when you start labeling yourself sports entertainment and there's billions of dollars on the line, I don't believe there's not some people, blowing some wind in the sail to make the boat move, if that makes sense.
Welcome to Big B Daily. No frauds allowed.
What is going on? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Big B Daily Show. This is your man, Big B, Brien Hanley. We are live on TikTok. We are live on YouTube. Thank you guys for joining us today, man. Good Thursday. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're going to get into it. Is Caleb Williams, is he a lock to be the number one overall pick? College football. I know they just went to 12, but they had meetings yesterday about going to 14 teams. Is that the right move? Is that the right play for the college football playoff committee to go to 14 teams? And then we're going to get into some Coach Prime. We're going to talk about Coach Prime. We're going to find out in season 2, is it style or is there going to be any type of substance to what he's bringing to the table, man? So I appreciate everybody joining us today. Again, if you're live on TikTok, keep tapping the screen. We need at least 5,000 likes and 30 new follows. So if you're in here and you're not following, please give us a follow. Next thing, if you are on YouTube, please subscribe to YouTube. We appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Same thing for TikTok. Click on that YouTube link in the bio and come on over and subscribe to Big B Sports Talk on YouTube. Come join the chat. Come join the live. Do all of it. Let's get into the show, people. Let's go. So the first thing, Caleb Williams, is he a lock to be the number one pick in this draft? Now, you get a lot of conflicting reports. First thing is he doesn't want to play in Chicago. That's been the first report. So my man Tristan over on TikTok already said, nope, he's not a lock at number one. I'm kind of the same way. I don't know that he's a lock. But let me address the first part of this is I know a lot of people say, oh, he should just be grateful to be in the NFL. He should just be thankful to be there. He shouldn't dictate where he wants to go. He's being selfish. Well, if you remember way back when, I know a lot of you guys, especially on TikTok, a lot of you guys weren't even thought about being born yet. But John Elway literally did the same thing to the Baltimore Colts at the time. That's how far back this was. Again, 1983, the Baltimore Colts. He told them, don't draft me because I'm not going to play for you. And they drafted him. And sure enough, he signed with the New York Yankees and went to spring training and basically forced Baltimore to trade him because he said, I'll just go play baseball. And it was viable because John Elway was a damn good baseball player. So him playing baseball was a legitimate thing. So they traded him to Denver. Eli Manning did the exact same thing with the Chargers. He's like, I'm not playing for you guys. I'm not going to do it. The difference in that case, he didn't have another sport that he could play, but Eli Manning, his family came from money. I mean, his brother was Peyton Manning, but his dad is Archie Manning. He could have sat it out and waited it out. Bo Jackson kind of did the same thing, didn't he? With Tampa. So, there's the thing is I just don't think that he's being selfish. Sometimes you just know a situation you don't want to put yourself in. And let's be honest, I know this is going to piss Bears fans off, but the Bears franchise over the last 20, I mean, let's just say ever. When was the last time the Bears drafted and developed a quarterback? I mean, when was the last time they did that successfully? I mean, I don't think anybody can think that. So, and that's the whole thing. That's I don't know. That's my thing. Now, my man Darren Howard on TikTok says, I don't like dictating where you go, never have. Go make a difference if you're that guy. That's true. That's one thing. Hey, you get drafted, just go play, go be great. But sometimes you can't be great because if you get drafted into a bad organization and they make you bad, it is what it is. It is what it is. But do I think that he's the consensus number one? I don't. I don't. I like Drake May. I think Drake May is really good. So, and Alfonso is asking me, big, if you were the GM, who's my number one? If I'm Chicago and I've already heard these reports, and maybe they're just bluffs, whatever it is, do your homework, number one. Take the guy you want. I mean, first of all, if I'm Chicago's GM, I do not trade Justin Fields. That's the first thing. So for me, I don't trade Justin Fields. So if you're asking that, I keep Justin Fields. I draft Marvin Harrison Jr. We got the number 9 pick. I go get me a tackle, and that's how I roll if I'm Chicago. That would be number one. But if you've already decided to get rid of Justin Fields, then I probably take Caleb Williams, but I'm going to do my homework because I really like Drake May. That's my thing. So, and somebody, yeah, the man's talking about the problem is the Bears coaching, not the talent. It's probably a little bit of both, but you're right. Coaching hasn't been good. Like I said, they haven't developed anybody in forever. So, I don't know. And the thing that I have with Caleb Williams is we saw a lot of throws that he makes that are not on time, on schedule throws. A lot of improvising, which is fine, but you don't get to do that all the time in the NFL. You got to drop back and throw the football on time in traffic. You know, that's the thing that, with Jaden Daniels, people love Jaden Daniels, but you didn't see him doing that all the time. Or Jaden Daniels was better, but think about like Bo Nix or Michael Penix. You really didn't see those guys do it. I mean, they were schemed. They're throwing to wide open guys, throwing the ball deep down the field. There wasn't a lot of times where you're just seeing, okay, run a dig route, and I'm going to throw you open. I'm going to throw it into a tight space where you might be covered, but because where I put the ball, you're going to be open to catch it. You didn't see a whole lot of that out of Penix and Bo Nix. Now, again, that's not their fault, the system they played in. It is what it is. And somebody's pointing out, Chuck Miller said Penix had really good receivers. Yeah, he did. So did Jaden Daniels. But here's another thing. So did C.J. Stroud. I mean, you go back and look at C.J. Stroud. Look at the receivers that he was playing with. In his 2 years as the starter at Ohio State, it's like a who's who. And he turned out to be pretty good so far. So I get that part, but, sometimes there's some context to it. I'm just not sure that Caleb is I think he's the best talent. I think he's the best player. However, if I'm the Bears general manager, like I said, I'm not trading Justin Fields. I'm taking Marvin Harrison, number one. I know, you can't take a wide receiver number one. Why the hell can't you? Yeah, you can. If he makes your franchise and your team better, why the hell can't you take him number one? I absolutely would. I don't care what see, I think people get caught up in the naysayers or caught up in a narrative. My job is to make my team the best that it can be if I'm a general manager. I don't care what conventional wisdom says. I don't care what everybody else has done. I don't care about any of that. All I want to do is win as many football games as I can win this year. I don't even worry about the next 10 years. I worry about this year because my job could be gone if I don't do a good job this year. Do that. And then let everything else fall by the wayside. So that's why I don't think, and maybe that's why I don't say that Caleb Williams is a lock at number one, because the Bears might be going thinking the same way I'm thinking. We're not going to trade Justin Fields, but we are going to draft Marvin Harrison Jr., and we're going to draft him number one. I'm just saying that's what I would do. I would not get rid of Justin Fields. If Fields isn't horrible, I'm not saying he's played great, but 3 years, 3 offensive coordinators, what are we doing? Some continuity would be nice. So a little bit more coaching, a little bit more weapons, a little bit better offensive line would be nice. You can't throw a guy out there, give him nothing, and then say, well, he can't play. That's not fair. That's not fair. And I know people are going to say, well, look at Mac Jones in New England. Okay, you can say the same thing. Now, Mac Jones don't have the talent, but you could still make that same argument. I mean, hell, Mac Jones had a special teams coordinator and a defensive coordinator calling his plays for him 2 years ago. What the hell? You talk about setting a guy up for failure. And my thing is, if you didn't want him, just, hey, we didn't want him. It's not going to work out. Just go that route. But don't embarrass the guy. So, David Gonzalez over on YouTube, he's got a comment. The best talent does not equal the best player. Ask anyone who shared a locker room with a talented but toxic teammate like Draymond. Some players are not negative by hurting their teammates' performance. Well, here's the thing about Draymond. I mean, you can't bring Draymond into the conversation because Draymond is not at the top of the food chain when it comes to players. So that's the difference. And if you ask Draymond's teammates, at least publicly, they say they love him. So that's a little bit different. But I get what you're saying. I get the route you're going with all of that. I get the route that you're going because it does make sense. It does make sense. But best talent does not always equal the best player, no. But also, it's what you got to fit into what we're trying to do. For instance, if you got 2 great tackles, the best tackle could be coming out. You're not drafting that guy because you already have 2 guys. So it's also about fit. And I know people get hung up on, best available player. You always take the best available, or you take what's good. Hey, be smart. Be smart. If I got 2 good tackles and they're under contract for a few years and they play really well, why would I draft one first? And then say, oh, well, we could make somebody a guard. Don't do that. Take another need. It's not like football teams don't have needs. And you can't just get caught up in the best available. I don't believe that. You can't do that as a franchise because we've seen teams do that, and then they get loaded up on a position, and then they're still, you still can't run the football because you got 11 defensive ends, and they're all good, but your offensive line is terrible. Well, it's because you kept taking the best available player, and you didn't address what needed to be addressed. So that's my point. That's what I would say. My man X Capone said, yeah, schemes matter. Yeah, they got to matter. They got to matter. And I don't think enough people look at it that way. You got to draft for what you're doing. So, and it doesn't matter if the Bears are trash. I'm just saying the Bears are trash. Well, okay, what difference does that make? Doesn't make a difference at all. If Fields gets traded, I hope he goes to Pittsburgh. Tomlin will do him very well. Look, y'all know I'm a diehard Steeler fan. I'm on that train. I'm on that. If they trade for Justin Fields, I'd be on that train. So I would like that. I would like that. Darren Howard's got a suggestion for the Bears. Let me know what y'all think about this TikTok. Fields, Harrison, DJ Moore. Then you can get a premier edge rusher or a tackle at number 9. Sounds pretty good to me. That's exactly what I said. It's exactly what I would do. I keep Fields. I got DJ Moore. I got Harrison Jr. They got a decent running game already. You don't need to even worry about running back. Go get you a tackle or another edge rusher to put on the other side of Sweat. And the Bears got something. They got something. Don't overthink it. Not to mention, the Bears have Justin Fields for the next 2 seasons. They have this year, and they even have next year because of his 5th-year option. You've got some time. Don't give up on him just yet. Don't do it. Don't do it. And if you think that Caleb Williams is just better than him, fine. Then you go ahead and you make the trade. But you better be sure, because you know what's going to happen. Your job is going to be on the line. Because Justin Fields, while he hasn't been great, he has not been horrible. And we've seen the flashes of him being very good. If you could get it more consistent, I think you got something. That's what I would do, though. That's absolutely what I would do. So I think you keep Fields. You go get Harrison at 1, get you a tackle or an edge rusher at 9, and then you go from there. And then you go from there. I mean, and the Bears got a ton of cap space, too. It's not like they can't address other needs in free agency. They can do that. Go get you some defensive players, and the Bears can be good. They got an opportunity if they just don't get in the way. However, and I know Bears fans, y'all know this, Bears, the organization of the Bears tends to get in the way. The leadership for the Bears is so bad and has been so bad for years. I feel bad for Bears fans. I really do. Because I'm a personal believer that the NFL is better when the Bears are good. I'm not saying they got to win the Super Bowl. Hell, they haven't won one since 85. An overrated football team, I might add, 85 Bears. But that's a different conversation for a different day. Different conversation for a different day. Don't come for me. Don't come for me. But I just think that their organization has just been in the way for so long. It's sad. It's just sad. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I like I said, I like the Bears, but if they just don't get in the way. If they just don't get in the way, I like what they can do. I really do. Let's move on. Again, as a reminder, Monday through Friday, people, 9 a.m., we are live on TikTok, live on YouTube, Big B Daily. We appreciate everybody joining us today. Again, if you're on TikTok, keep tapping the screen, man. We got about 4,000 likes to go to the goal. We want to get to 5,000, 30 new follows. So if you're in here, please give us a follow. We appreciate it. And then click on that YouTube link in my bio and come on over and subscribe to Big B Sports Talk, man. We appreciate it. A lot of access that you get over there that you don't get on TikTok. Same thing on YouTube. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe to Big B Sports Talk. Let's get into the next topic. College football expansion. They are talking about already going to 14. They haven't even played one snap of a season where we're going to 12. It's absolutely insane. Now, I know why they're talking about doing it is because the Big Ten and the SEC aren't satisfied. They want more of their teams in. And they know that if it's at 12, that everybody's going to badmouth them because they're going to try to flood the at-large berths with Big Ten and SEC teams. And they know that everybody's going to say, okay, the jig's up. We know what you're doing. This is ridiculous. Because last year, if it was 12 teams, the at-larges would have been Ole Miss, Georgia, Penn State, Ohio State. Well, that's 4 out of the 7. Okay, I'm fine with that. Leave it at that because those are legitimate. Those are legitimate, although I'm not sure Penn State. My man Donnie's not going to like me saying that very much. However, that would have been legitimate. If they just left it at that, if that was the case, leave it at that. That sounds legitimate, TikTok. That sounds legitimate to me. But they're wanting 14 so they can get even more in. But I'm like, who are you putting in? What are you, LSU? No. And some of this has to be, are you deserving of an opportunity to win a national championship? And I don't think enough people talk about that enough. I don't think people talk about, are you deserving of being in that position? You're not going to say somebody that's lost 3 games or 4 games should be deserving of being in the college football playoff. That doesn't make sense to me. Just so you can say another SEC team made it? Well, for what? For what? So, my man Pat Cockrell over here on YouTube, they're not even trying to hide the fact that they're trying to monopolize college football. No, they're not. Outside of the top teams, the conferences are a damn joke, but they've got everyone fooled. I don't think they even have everyone fooled because I don't think they're trying to fool anybody, Pat. I don't think they're trying to fool anybody. So I think it's just crazy. They're just trying to just flood it with those teams, and especially the Big Ten. Who the hell else are you going to put in from the Big Ten? Iowa, who can't score touchdowns? Wisconsin, who doesn't know how to throw the football? What are we doing? Jeez. But now that they've got these other teams in there, Washington, Oregon, USC, UCLA, I'm still not convinced that I think Washington was a one-year wonder. I'm still not convinced that Washington is going to be anything than a one-year wonder of what they were. They got an NFL quarterback. They had 3 NFL wide receivers. Their defense was trash. They had a great offensive line, and they made it work for a season. Other than that, and they lost all that, including their head coach. I think Washington goes back to a 7-5, 8-4 football team this year. So that ain't going to be somebody you put in. We'll see what Oregon looks like without Bo Nix. Maybe they got it together. Maybe they don't. I know they're going to be going to some more challenging places to play football games. As much as we like the Oregon States, the Washington States, you replace that with, I don't know, Ohio State, Michigan. You replace them with those teams, then you see, okay, what do you got? So it'll be interesting. But going to 14 makes absolutely no sense. It makes no sense to me. I don't know what they're trying to accomplish. So my man Echo on TikTok says Michigan's going to fall off, but he's a Penn State fan, so I get it. You're wanting Michigan to fall off. I don't know if they will. I think there might be a little bit of a drop-off, but if they continue to just play physical football like they play, you can win like that in college football. That's my thing. You can win. Just pound people into submission, play outstanding and really physical defense, you can win. And that's what they did this year. With quarterback play, with competent quarterback play. So here's my thing as far as, like we were just talking about Caleb Williams, like J.J. McCarthy. A lot of people are saying he's bottom of the first round all the way to the end of the third round type of draft pick. The thing about him is we don't really know because they didn't have to throw it 30 times a game to win football games. So they didn't do that. But because you don't throw it 30 times, does that mean you're not any good? I don't think it does. I just think it means that we had an offensive philosophy that didn't require me to have to do that. So we ran the football and we won. That's my thing. Now, do you want to take a risk on somebody like that in the first round? Probably not. Probably not. But we've seen worse. I know that. We've seen worse. Look, Trey Lance comes to mind. Trey Lance played like 11 games or something stupid like that of college football, and he was the third pick in the draft, and you see how that turned out. On his second team, relegated to a backup, and not even the backup. He's the third string guy. So who knows? But yeah, college football gotta take it easy a little bit with the the expansion. At least get to 14. At least get to 12. Get to 12 and let's see what happens. Get to 12 and let's see what happens. My man Pat Cockrell's got another comment on YouTube. Let's be real, though. 6 or 7 at-large are going to go to SEC and Big Ten teams. Why can't it just be win your conference and you're in? Well, it is that, Pat. You do win your conference and you're in. And then it's going to be, okay, of the 7 at-large teams, who all gets in? I mean, one of the problems that I see will be if a Big 12 and an ACC team, if they make it in and it turns into a consistent basis that a team with 3 or 4 losses from that conference gets into the tournament, that's only going to strengthen the SEC and the Big Ten's argument of, well, look, why would we take somebody else from their conference? The conference winner had 4 losses. Who else is even deserving? And it's a valid point. It's a very valid point. And then the one thing that they did that I like is because we thought that the conference championship games were going to become obsolete and not as important. Well, that ain't true, because if you win your conference, not only do you get in, you get a first round bye. So, yeah, that becomes obsolete at this point. The incentive is still there to win the conference. Not to, okay, we got to the conference championship. We've only lost 1 game. We're going to be in the conference, in the college football playoff, so we'll just take it easy. No. I do like that. There's a lot of things about the committee that we don't have to like, and we probably don't like, but that's one thing that they said that makes sense. Now, Michael, I hear what you're saying over here on TikTok. Notre Dame needs to be in a conference. No, they don't. No, Notre Dame doesn't need to be in a conference, and they've made it that way with all these at-large bids. It's like, why would Notre Dame need to be in a conference? If Notre Dame goes through their season and only loses 1 game, Notre Dame's going to be ranked in the top 10, probably top 5 in the country. So they're going to get in no matter what. And I know what they're saying. Well, they need to go and be in a conference. Well, look at Notre Dame's schedule. Who they usually play every year. It's not like they play a bunch of pansies. I mean, Notre Dame plays a pretty good schedule every season. So, no, Notre Dame doesn't have to join a conference. So, and yeah, them having to play an extra game in the college football playoff, what do you think Notre Dame would rather do? Let me just ask you guys this question. Do you think Notre Dame would rather join a conference, and then if they win that conference, get into the college football playoff, which also comes along with splitting revenue? Or would Notre Dame want to continue to stay independent, have their own television network where they have a minimum of 6 games that are on NBC every week, and they get all the revenue from that? And if they lose 1, 2 games, they're still in the top 12. They'll go, and yeah, they got to play an extra game in the college football playoff. What do you think Notre Dame would rather do? I mean, do you think that they're in the business of sharing revenue if they don't have to? Because, newsflash, if Notre Dame loses 3 or 4 games, they're not going to be in the college football playoff anyway. So, Why even put that up for interpretation? No reason for them to go into a conference if, hey, we got an opportunity to get in no matter what. If we lose 1 or 2 games, we'll get in. Oh, also, we don't have to share any revenue with anybody for anything. To me, it's a no-brainer. No way Notre Dame gets in. And again, and they still have the same opportunities to get an at-large berth as everybody else. So no, they don't need to join a conference. And it sounds like the powers that be basically made it this way so they don't have to join a conference. So, yeah. No way, no how are they going to do it. Unless they say you got to be a conference champion and we're only taking teams from a conference to get in. If they say, you know what, we're going to kick out independents, yeah, that makes sense. So the players would rather be in a conference, but the school officials would. That's not true at all. The players wouldn't rather be in a conference. They don't care. The players don't care. That is not true. You don't think Notre Dame players enjoy playing USC? They don't care who they play or where they play. They went to Notre Dame to play at Notre Dame. They didn't go to Notre Dame and say, oh, man, I'd rather be in a conference. Stop that. Stop that. That's not true. Yeah. There's no chance that players are saying, oh, man, I would rather go be in a conference. No, they don't. So, no, they don't. So, and then we got guys over here that is probably 21 years old. Dude's just yapping about mid-Notre Dame program. Oh, my God. I try, people. I try. I try to be nice. I do. But you have just unintelligent idiots everywhere. So I apologize. Shouldn't have never even said anything. I apologize. And you're exactly right. That's why Notre Dame aligned with the ACC, is because they could play teams from a conference without having to be in a conference. I mean, and they play good teams in the ACC. They aligned with them, so they don't have to be in that conference. I mean, it's great. So, yeah, I've been watching Notre Dame forever. So, and all Notre Dame wants to do is make money and win. They don't care where. And if they don't, because they could have forced Notre Dame to be in a conference years ago, and they didn't do it. They never did it. And they're never going to. They're never going to. Here's a point here. Great point on Notre Dame. Have no clue what NBC is thinking. They just re-upped for 2024 through 2029. So Notre Dame is definitely not joining a conference before 2029. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Notre Dame's not going anywhere. Not going anywhere. And NBC is just fine with Notre Dame being on because NBC also just signed a new contract too. So NBC, I believe they're going to start showing SEC games. So, or is it Big Ten? I think it's Big Ten games, excuse me, not SEC. It's Big Ten games. So, I mean, it's just crazy what's going on. So, oh well. College football at its finest, already trying to go to 14 teams. Can we just get to 12 and just have one playoff with 12 teams first before we start talking about going to 14? Because then when we go to 14, then it'll be 16, then it'll be 32. And before you know it, we'll have as many teams in the damn as March Madness, and we'll only have 5 regular season games, if that. Jeez. Crazy, crazy, crazy. So let's move on. Let's move on. Yeah, Whit, you were saying you were about to say CBS or ESPN gave up on the SEC. ESPN didn't. CBS did, which is weird, but they did. They did. So let's move on. Let's move on. Again, as a reminder, everybody, 9 a.m. Monday through Friday, you know where you're going to be. Right here live on TikTok and live on YouTube. the Big B Daily. Come and check us out. We appreciate everybody. Thank you guys. We love the support. We love you guys joining in. The lives are fun. Come over again. Keep tapping the screen on TikTok. We're almost at the 5K point. We're almost there. And again, 30 new follows. So if you're in here, give us a follow. Click on the link and come on over to YouTube and subscribe to Big B Sports Talk over on YouTube. We appreciate it, man. So, all right. Let's move on. Coach Prime. Coach Prime, season 2 at Colorado. Season 1 started off like it couldn't have started any better for Colorado. And then the definition of falling off a cliff was literally meant for exactly what happened to Colorado. Started off high and it wasn't even a slow cliff. It was straight down. Just straight down. So I want Coach Prime to do well, but look, we got to start seeing some substance behind all the style. And I get it was year 1, they were better than what they were the year before. They were better than what they were the year before. Period, point blank. They sucked the year before, and they were awful last year. So I guess if sucked is low, then they moved up to awful. So, but they got to figure it out. They're moving into the Big 12. The Big 12 is going to have a little bit more competition, I think, as far as physical football. But we'll see if the transfer portal can turn them around. So you got to have some substance behind all the style. I love the style. Don't get me wrong. I love it. I don't like it. I love it. But at some point, you got to start winning football games. And I think for Prime and the credibility of the program, I think they got to win 8 games this year. Do you guys? I don't want to hear 6-6 and make it to a bowl game. I think they got to win 8 games, at a minimum 7, to have some sort of legitimacy. So we appreciate that, Samurai. We're doing our best, man. I think they got to win a minimum of 7. 8, and I would love it. But don't give me 6-6 and you just barely make it to a bowl game, because number one, I think everybody in here probably already thinks there are way too many bowl games and you shouldn't be rewarding teams with a 6-6 record from going to a bowl game anyway. I'm under that. That's just me. I think if a team goes 6-6, you shouldn't even be going to a bowl game. Because number one, they have way too many bowls anyway. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. But 6-6 shouldn't get you there. Hell, 7-5 should be bottom of the barrel. So I think they got to win 8 games. So we appreciate it, Capone. Come on over, man. You got to win 8 games for Prime. For me to say it was successful, I'll even slide down and say 7. I've seen their schedule. It's pretty difficult, again. But there's 8 wins on that schedule. If they are as good as what he keeps saying, then there's 8 wins on that schedule. One of those is going to be early, where you got to go to Nebraska and win. You got to go to Colorado State and win. Now you think, Colorado State, what are you talking about, B? We saw that game against Colorado State last year. I mean, what was it? I think it was double overtime, went till 2:30 in the morning, which was wild because we all stayed up and watched. I don't think I've ever stayed up and watched a college football game at 2:30 in the damn morning in my life. But for some reason, I stayed up and watched it. So hopefully we can get it. He can get it figured out, because I'm rooting for Coach Prime. And I know there's a lot of 25-year-olds and 21-year-olds that are going to say, Brien, stop glazing. Coach Prime, stop all that glazing. I mean, can't I just root for somebody without having to glaze the man? Can't I just be happy for him and want them to win? What the hell's going on? Oh, my God. Oh, come on, B. Stop all that meat riding. B is just meat riding. Ah, jeez. Whatever happened to just rooting for the people that you like? Whatever happened to that, man? Can we not do that no more? Ah, don't get me wrong. Look, I'm old. I'm 48 years old, and y'all keep me young. TikTok, y'all keep me young. You do. I love it. I don't have kids, so catching up with the lingo sometimes, I rely on my buddy's kid. He's in college, so I rely on him to keep me up with it. But yeah, I was just he says it to me all the time. Anytime I say something nice about anybody, come on, B, stop glazing. What? So, oh, nah, redneck. I'm not the president of the prom fan club. I can't be there yet, man. I can't be there yet. So, ooh, B, do you think they would keep him if he had a subpar season? Says Senior John Q. That's a great question. Would they keep Coach Prime if they had a subpar season, 5-7, 4-8? I would say, yeah. But I think the better question is, would Coach Prime stay? I think that's the better question. If they went and they had that kind of record, would he stay there? Both his kids are leaving. Would he stay? So I hope he does. I hope he's in this for the long haul, because if he leaves, then everything that everybody said about him would all be true. So that would all be true. So over under. What's your over under for wins this year in the new Big 12? For Colorado, whoo, I'll do it 7.5. Ain't that what Vegas does to us? They always throw that half in there to screw us. I'm going to do it too. 7.5 on the over-under on Coach Prime for wins. 7.5. Yeah, I'll keep it at that. That would seem high, but ain't that what Vegas does to us? They always throw in that half. Like, why has it got to be a half, man? Don't do that. So, and again, like I said, I'm rooting for Coach Prime. I am. I want him to succeed. I do. I want the flash to work out, because he's doing it a different way that nobody really does before. And you have all these people that say it can't be done this way. It can't be done. You can't sustain it. You can't win by doing it this way. And I want him to prove everybody that says that wrong. So I'll prove everybody. I want him to prove them wrong. Redneck Patriot said he's taking the under. I would probably take the under too, man. Look, I said it at 7.5, but I would take an under. I would absolutely take the under. So, yeah, that's what Vegas does to us all the time. They always throw in that damn half to get us. They always do. They always do. But, people keep betting, myself included. That's why they build all those damn resorts out in Vegas. They know. They know what they're doing. They're no dummies. So we're going to open this up. If anybody wants to come up on TikTok, we are going to open this up and have some fun. And hopefully it will make some sense. So see if anybody wants to join. But we're moving on to the Q&A section. Michigan win next year. New coach, new QB. Yeah, I think Michigan still wins. I think Michigan still got a bunch, and I still think they got a lot. And they'll still play physical football. I think Michigan will be just fine. I think Michigan will be just fine next year. So, yeah. Yeah, I think Michigan will be just fine. Washington will drop off, says Chuck Miller. Yeah, we said that earlier, Chuck. I think Washington, I think they fall completely off. They lost all those guys. Look, it's not like Washington was just some juggernaut every year. They weren't. They have an NFL quarterback. They had 3 NFL receivers, and they probably have a minimum of 3 NFL offensive linemen. And they were able to win that way. All those people are gone, including their head coach. If they win 8 games next year, that would be great for them if they can go 8-4. I don't think they can. So, Coach K came in and said, talking about Creighton winning the other night, you were 100% right. You were right. And I didn't deny you. I just said it would be tough. I just said, you're right. UConn on the road, all those wins in a row. Creighton's a good team. Wouldn't be surprised if they won, and they won the game handily. I mean, they didn't just win. They won handily. So, yeah, they smacked them. Smacked them in the mouth. Made a bunch of shots. Good for them. So, Creighton's one of those teams where, depending on their bracket, I don't even know depending on their bracket. I think I'm going to have Creighton just marked down as a team that I'm going to put in the Sweet 16 this year. So I think Creighton is just going to be one of those teams for me. So I like Creighton a lot. So they play good defense. My man Pat Cockrell says, Big B, why can't the college football playoff just be all conference winners playing each other? Because that's not fair. That's why. That's why. It can't just be conference winners. For instance, if in a conference, or let's just do this. Last year, let's just say if it was all conference winners and Louisville would have beaten Florida State, do you think Louisville should have played for the national championship? I am 48 years old. I have been a diehard Louisville fan my whole life. The answer to that question is hell no. That's why it can't just be conference champions. That's why. I mean, it's tough. I get it. But that's why. Because when somebody isn't deserving, you can't just put them in there. Just because they won the conference. Wouldn't be fair. Would not be fair. But that's the difference. I get it. I get what you're saying, though. But you got to put the most deserving teams in. If we want it to be the most deserving, then you got to put teams in that are deserving. And Louisville would not have met that criteria. Hell, they didn't think Florida State met the criteria, and they were undefeated. Now, that's a different conversation for a different day because I think they probably should have been. And they kept them out because of money, so I get that part, but that's why. Morning, Cyberpunk. What's going on? Appreciate you joining us. Man. Again, Monday through Friday, people. Big B Daily. We are live on TikTok. We are live on YouTube. So y'all keep tapping the screen, man. Anybody that wants to come up, we're going to be on for another maybe 5 minutes. If you're on TikTok and you want to come up, request to join and we'll bring you up. Cyberpunk, you already missed the NFL. I get it, man. Dive into college football. College basketball. Dive into college basketball. I miss the NFL too. But you know when I start diving into college basketball is in the NFL playoffs. And I know what you're thinking. B, what the hell are you talking about? Well, it's in between the games. And there's such a lack of games. Like, what is there, 16 games a week? And then it goes down, and then there's 4. Just dive into it, man. College basketball is fun. I love it. Second favorite sport. Got into a debate yesterday on whether, as far as postseasons, was March Madness better than NFL as far as the postseason is concerned. And that's a compelling statement. That's a compelling argument. I mean, because let's just think about this. during March Madness, basically for 3 weeks, the world stops when it comes to other sports. Nobody pays attention to anything. The only thing people pay attention to is the NCAA tournament. Am I wrong? Like, now you're going to have your old NBA heads out there saying, oh, we watch the NBA no matter what, blah. But for the majority of America, when March Madness is around, nobody's watching anything but that. And it starts on Thursday and it ends on a Monday or on Sunday. So for 3 weeks, that's what people are doing. March Madness. So that's the thing. You in spring training, baseball spring training, you can be a diehard baseball fan. And I get it. You're paying attention to March Madness. You can be a diehard NBA fan. You're paying attention to March Madness. So to me, it's right up there. I got NFL talking playoffs, NFL playoffs, March Madness, college football, or take that back, Major League Baseball, then college football. I'm not a big baseball person, partly because I root for the Mets, and the Mets absolutely suck. But don't come for me. I know that's a different conversation. The Mets are bad. But I'm not that big of a baseball guy, but I'll watch postseason baseball. I will absolutely watch postseason baseball. I get into it. If I'm watching a game, I'll watch every inning. You know how hard it is to watch every inning of a baseball game on TV? Whew! It's damn near impossible. It is damn near impossible. However, I will do it because I like postseason. I like postseason baseball. I do. So one of the reasons is because every stadium is full outside of Tampa Bay. Every stadium is full, packed, rocking, jamming. Every single stadium. So now, Capone, don't get me wrong. When the Olympics are around, I'll watch anything on the Olympics. But that's only every 4 years. So, yeah, I'll watch anything on the Olympics. I mean, I'll watch archery in the Winter Olympics. What is that thing where they're shaving the ice and that ball is going down? Curling. I'll watch curling. I'll watch anything on the Olympics, man. I love it. I love the Olympics. The only thing that I don't like is when it's certain places where it's happened, like it's all the way on the other side of the world. And so it happens at 2:00 in the morning here, and then we can't watch until at night. But because of the way technology and everything is, you already know what happened. I'm like, I don't like that. Yeah, you got to get up at 4 a.m. Whit. That's the part I don't like. I'm like, gee, many Christmas, man. Like, I want to watch it. I don't want to know what happened. We ought to come up with something. There got to be something in America, but you can't even do that and say that you can't post it anywhere because everybody got a phone. So there's nothing you can do. It's either you get up at 4:00 in the morning and you watch it live, or you get up whenever you get up and then you find out who won and then you're upset because you didn't get to watch it live and you go back and watch it later. So, quick question here. Thoughts on the USFL? Nah, I'm out. I'm out on all that. I know that makes me a snob. Oh, B, you're a snob. Give them a chance. They're out there trying. Hey, more power to them. More power to them. I don't begrudge anybody for getting out there and trying to continue their dream of playing football. However, I do have my standards on what I want to watch in football, and that football is not good football. It's just not. Quarterback play is horrendous. The line play is just a step above horrendous. It's just not good football. So that's just me. Other people think differently, but that's just me. All right, man, we're going to shut this one down for today. I appreciate everybody that jumped in today, man. Again, on TikTok, we crushed what we were trying to do. I appreciate it. So Hold on. Will Michigan State make the Sweet 16 this year? Is Michigan State even going to make the tournament? Huh. Oh, well. I don't know. I'll be coming out tomorrow. I'm going to have a shirt that I'm going to wear tomorrow. The Goon Squad, y'all are going to like it. Y'all are going to like it. I got a Goon Squad t-shirts made. It's just that we're working out some logistics on the back end. Got to work those out. But once we get all that stuff done, the Goon Squad shirts are going to be out and in effect, and everybody needs to get one. And then we're probably going to do something crazy like send me you and whoever in a Goon Squad shirt, all that good stuff. So it'll be fun. But we're working on the logistics on the back end. Once we get it all figured out, man, we will get it worked out. We'll get a link out to everybody. We'll have it on TikTok Shop. We'll have a link in YouTube. We'll have a link everywhere for everybody to go and get it. So we appreciate you guys, man. Again, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m., Big B Daily. We will be back tomorrow to do it better. I appreciate everybody being in here today. Love you guys. Aloha.